everybody. Welcome to TL's Roadhouse. I've been so looking forward to talking to my friend. Easton Corbin's in the house.
Buddy, how you doing?
Man, I'm so good, brother. Good. It's really good to see you.
Absolutely.
So you've been going through some changes, man. I know we met. I'm trying to remember. We met at an industry event several years ago, and you were hot as a firecracker. Things were rocking for you. I can't remember. It was some. I'm trying. It's probably about 2015 or 16.
Yeah, that was.
And I'm trying to remember. It was some industry event because there were a bunch of people backstage. Something that we were doing.
Was it the Opry thing or something?
Possibly.
Something with the Opry, maybe.
Probably so. It wasn't at the Opry House.
No.
Maybe it was. Was it when they inducted Chris Young in? Maybe.
I don't know. Well, because I remember they would do an event down. Where did they do that at? I think it was at the convention center.
I can see the room, but I can't remember what the building.
Yeah,
was.
But it wasn't the Ryman or it wasn't anything like the Opry House.
It was like a more urban, more one of those new facilities. But anyway, man. So you were on a major back then, and
Yep.
things have kind of shifted gears for you. I know that's a big adjustment, isn't it?
Oh yeah. It's definitely a different. A different, going from that to this, but it's been a great transition. Working with Benny Brown and everybody at Stone Country Records, man, they're just great people.
So Benny, for everybody that doesn't know, Benny started Broken Bow Records, and which launched Jason Aldean's career, and then they got bought out and merged with a bigger label. But they did have,
maybe.
I think. Okay. So Benny's opened up another label. Who's your distribution with?
I don't know who. Eric, you know who it is? Orchard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah.
I don't know the details on some of that stuff.
But it's he had quite a bit of success early on. Is he building up a new roster? I mean, other
yeah. Well, we got Joe Nichols on there and some other new acts.
I've been hearing some of Joe's new stuff. On the radio too.
It's Stone Country Records, and then there's Quartz Hill. I'm on Stone Country. Joe's on Quartz Hill, and then there's some other various newer acts and things on there.
Yeah, it's one of the things that we're trying to talk to folks about is just the difference in being on a major and the nuts and bolts that make a label situation turn, how different moving to an independent situation is,
sure.
and just how different it must be in this day and age for a kid to start off like with TikTok and
oh yeah, it's a
and
different
there are
world,
labels
man.
that won't even look at you unless you've got so many views on TikTok now.
Exactly.
It's kind of like what American Idol or even The Voice was several years ago. They wanted that viewership where people knew who you were.
It seems like back then everybody is off The Voice or American Idol. Now it's all, seems like it's all TikTokers, It's crazy.
Yeah. I just wonder, too, I don't know how it was when you came up. For me, I spent years in honky tonks, man. I was playing every freaking weekend, playing with, bands and just any place to get on stage, learning how to work a 5-hour set and keep people on the dance floor and all those things.
And I think that's the difference between a lot of these guys. It's easy to sit in your bedroom, and make TikTok videos versus actually learning, how to be an artist and work the crowd and, being in that environment and entertain. It's a different thing.
It does. There is a learning curve there.
Oh, absolutely.
Being able to know, even when you're in a cover band, knowing what songs keep people on the dance floor. Because if you're playing in bars, you don't keep people on the dance floor. They don't drink beer. They don't drink beer. You don't come back. so it's all part of that, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
So where did you start when you first started playing music?
Man, I wasn't old enough to play in the bars and stuff, so I was playing a lot of just festivals and probably parties I shouldn't have been at, and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
Just anywhere we could play, because I was in a band. And it's funny, man, back then I always sang and I loved to sing, but I was always too shy to get in front of people and sing. So I was just a guitar player because I just wanted to play guitar.
Yeah.
And but we played all kind of places, man. Wherever it let us,
Yeah. Now Florida.
Yep, North Florida.
What part? North.
Yeah, around about 45 minutes west of Gainesville.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So that was garden parties and bar mitzvahs and pony rides.
It's funny, man, because there wasn't much of a music scene in Gainesville. I don't even think there was a bar that had live country music, and so there wasn't a whole lot of places to play. So you kind of play where you can.
Yeah, that's. But so you started off there. What was how old were you the first time that you got on stage?
Probably 12, 13. 13, 14.
With a band or
oh, yeah. I had a band, me and some buddies, and, we played all over the place. So.
Yeah. Any recordings of that still floating around?
There probably is somewhere. In fact, it's so funny. I know a guy named Jeff Davis that you probably know Jeff from, he used to work at the radio station, I think, in Jacksonville.
I think
I know Jeff.
Yeah, I know Jeff.
And he had something that I was with a buddy, with a guy named Paul Rice, and in fact, I just talked to him. And I was playing some music with him, and he introduced me to Jeff Davis, and I recorded some guitar stuff for him, and I reconnected with Jeff probably about a month ago at a radio event. And he's like, "Hey man, you remember this?" And he had it saved on his phone. I'm like, "Oh my God." I was probably 19, 20 maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. So.
Yeah, those are all fun to go back and listen to, man. I was talking to Steve Warner not long ago, man. You realize when I think Steve went out with, was it Skaggs? No, it wasn't Skaggs. Steve was on the road with somebody when he was like 19 years old. He actually left school to go play on the road, man.
Oh, wow.
Could you imagine doing
Well,
that?
that sounds like Keith Whitley and those guys that
Yeah.
they were when they were.
And Marty Stewart.
Oh
all
yeah,
those
yeah,
guys.
yeah.
I mean,
That's right. Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of those guys got started so young, man.
Oh yeah.
But shoot, man, could you imagine your mama letting you go run off on a bus when you were 16 years old?
Not at all. She's like, no thanks.
She didn't want me doing the things I did when I was 20. Your mom and
Probably
dad,
right.
Your mom and dad still alive?
They are. Yeah, yep. They are. Everybody still lives in Florida, and man, thank the Lord in good health and
Brothers and sisters?
I do. I have a sister. Yep, she's 8 years older than me.
Yeah.
So yeah, man.
She do music?
She sang, growing up and stuff, but nah, she's not in the business.
Yeah.
Nah.
Don't have any interest in it?
I think she just
None of mine did either.
yeah.
Did you have a musical family? Would your mama play piano at the church and all that stuff?
Not really. My grandpa was always a singer and stuff like that, but nobody. Well, I did have a cousin that was a fiddle player, or actually a great fiddle player. He used to play with like Nickel Creek and some of those bands and stuff back in the day, and he grew up going to the bluegrass festivals and all that stuff, and he was a great player. But my immediate family, not really. I was now my dad. He was always interested in music and stuff like that, and sang, and always wanted to play the guitar, but never did learn. So I guess I took that over. So
yeah. What were some of those early music influences that you had?
for me, growing up around my grandparents, I remember they had like record collection stuff that was probably left there from my dad and my aunts and stuff like that. So I remember listening to Hank, Senior and Elvis and all those things, those records that were just left there, and exploring all that.
Yep. Did you go through the Haggard phase? Obviously,
yeah.
Straight was a huge influence.
Dude, Haggard was probably my biggest influence. Him, Keith Whitley, and George Jones.
I was listening, so I just recently downloaded like 20 of my favorite Haggard songs, and I've been listening to them on my playlist at the gym. If you get like Red Bandana or Makeup and Faded Blue Jeans,
I love
that. And really listen to them. Listen to that internal groove on Red Bandana with that's got like a little clavinova thing going on with an acoustic guitar and the bass guitar doing this little riff on this little internal thing. And how many times do you hear bands playing it as a cover tune and they never play it right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Same with Makeup and Faded Blue Jeans. If that hi-hat's not moving, if it doesn't have that beat, it loses.
Or they play Working Man Blues way too fast.
Well, I'm guilty of that.
We've all done that. Yeah,
We've all done that.
Dude, I can remember being in 6th grade buying one of my first records at Haggard Records. It was the best of the best of Merle Haggard, and just some of my Day I Started Loving You Again and Sing Me Back Home. And I remember being in 6th grade, trying to comp those licks, and trying to learn that phrasing and all that stuff.
And even now when I go back and listen to all that stuff, just the timbre and the quality of his voice,
incredible,
is still amazing to me.
But it's funny too, though. You see the evolution of their voices from when they're really young to when they do kind of get that more seasoned timbre on it, and they get older and that age gets on their voice. And it just
alcohol
gets better.
And cigarettes.
Well, that could be it too.
But it's the journey of watching them go through all that stuff, and just as a kid, if you were like me, man, I used to dream about being on the bus and going into venues and playing these old smoky bars, man.
Absolutely,
just all the lifestyle images of what I thought was going on out on the road, man. I dreamed about it as a child. Years and years and years. It's all I ever wanted.
Well, and I'm the same with you on that. People like, hey, what did you, or when did you start wanting to be an artist or a singer or whatever, or be in the music business? I said, man, that's all I ever wanted to do. I never really did have a dream of being anything else, Yeah. The only reason I went to college because my parents were like, hey, go to Nashville and pursue your career or your dream, but do us a favor, go get your education first. And then I was like, all right, I can do that.
Yeah, I heard a lot of that stuff too.
Yeah.
So as you were, as a vocalist, and then we'll talk about guitar in a little bit, but as a vocalist, when you were studying things, what were some of the artists that really challenged you? Things for me that were challenging was like Ricky Van Shelton's Statue of a Fool.
Oh, yeah.
Some of that stuff that was really, really rangy. What were some things that challenged you when you were just learning? Say you're 16, 17 years old, you're playing gigs on the weekend, stuff that, man, stand in the shower and scream it for 2 days trying to get ready just to do it one time on the weekend.
Man, I'll be honest with you, that again, my biggest influencers are Haggard, Jones, and Whitley, and anything they do is a challenge. I mean, really.
Yeah.
Because they were just such great vocalists and great artists, just the way they sing and their phrasing and just the way they attack the song and their approach on it, man. That's an art form in itself.
It really is. And learning where to take a breath.
Yes.
Learning all those little nuances about where to slip a little vibrato in.
A lot of that stuff you can't push to hit that stuff.
Oh, no.
It's very intricate.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes it's just a little quick breath in a certain spot. Yep. But, I would lay there, man. I remember times getting little bookshelf speakers and laying them on the floor and cranking it up just so I could hear every little thing.
Oh, yeah.
We've come so far with headphones and earbuds and those things now that you don't have to do that anymore. But I wanted to hear every little nuance. I miss that in a lot of the recordings that we make today because I think it gets lost in translation on earbuds, man, compared to what we had.
Too, with all the technology, it kind of sometimes takes what's the word for it? Those
Dynamic?
guys. Maybe dynamics. But too, those guys, they didn't have auto-tune. They didn't have, you had to be on.
Oh, yeah. But they also mixed different. And analog was warmer, so it covered up things. And I've watched those guys duck little split seconds and when they're mixing out and it's amazing how different it is now. Everything's so
but you still had to be be pretty on. You can't just get in there and just sling a vocal on. All right, just fix it.
Dude, I was listening to Tammy Wynette this morning at the gym and listening to Golden Ring.
Oh, yeah.
You should, really, I don't know if I've ever really listened to her voice. It's just amazing. She's had such little character, little things that she did.
Incredible.
Sometimes I think we Pro Tool the stuff out of
That's what
everybody.
I mean. That's what I'm saying. It gets so overdone that sometimes it takes the life or
it takes the vibe out of it.
Yeah, it takes the vibe out. Yeah, because sometimes those little imperfections is what makes the record. Like those old Jerry Lee Lewis records where he's singing real high up there and he's just a little sharp.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, that's great.
You go back and you fix those things, then it destroys the feel of the record.
Yes.
It's the same with rock and roll. You go back and tune Robert Plant's voice at Led Zeppelin, and it's not the same. I mean, you suck all the life out of it.
Exactly.
Do you feel a little bit more of the freedom being on an independent label and having a little bit more control over some of those issues than you did on a major?
I think so. Major. So you asked the difference between it seems like a major and versus a independent label. Sometimes the majors get so big, you just feel like a cog in the wheel, a little bit, and you get lost in there. Yep. And with an indie, it's more personal. It's like with Benny. It's like, man, we were making this record, and me and him were listening to songs together and choosing songs together. It wasn't just it wasn't like you got your A&R guy that you never see over here.
Yeah.
It's like we're actually working one-on-one together. And the cool thing about Benny is he loves country music.
Yeah.
And, of course, I love country music, and he's a fan of what I do. And, he just kind of let me be me in making this record, which I love it.
That's a good thing.
It's probably one of my favorite records I've ever made, this last one.
That's good to hear, man. So who all did you have session-wise? What players did you get?
Man, I'm going to blank on you here. Larry Franklin, I was just talking to my buddy about it. Derek Wells, Rob McNally, John Willis.
Oh, yeah.
Just great players.
There's so many great players.
Oh, my gosh,
in this town, man.
I mean, just so much talent. It's like you think you're a good guitar player. Yeah, go listen to those guys, and you'll just be like, yeah, I'm going to put that down.
Yeah, I gave that up a long time ago.
I remember, you hear like guys like Brent Mason and stuff, because Brent, back in the day, he's my hero as far as guitar player.
Man.
And you just go see the stuff that he does, and it's just like, holy crap.
I was watching a thing on Book Fact the other day.
Oh, yeah.
And Tom was talking about one of the biggest lessons that he learned. He said, I used to get so offended. He said, take, for example, say you're in a master session with an A-level artist, and you feel like you just played the greatest solo that you ever played in your life. And you get done, the producer says, let's try a different direction. And here all of a sudden you've given everything you have to this one solo, and you're just it's messing up your head. On the drop of a dime, you've got to flip the switch, take a whole new direction in another place, and give just as much passion and intensity that you just gave the first time, or you might not get called the next time.
Yeah, man. Those
And
guys.
learning to get your head separated where you can walk away from that one you just played and never think about it again and move on
Yeah.
is the biggest trick to being an A-level session player in this town, far and above everything else.
It's so funny, man. When Brent would be playing stuff like on my first record, I'm saying, "Hey, man, can you do what you just did?" And he'd be like,
What I do.
What did I do?" Yeah, it's like, how do you not know what you did? It's like they're just so good. It's just second nature, man. It's just like, okay.
It's amazing to watch. And not only that, play something extremely intricate with, just all these little nuances in it, and then add 2 harmony parts to it.
Yeah.
Play it exactly the same.
Yeah.
So how do you do that?
Yeah, I'm telling you, man,
It's amazing to me.
insane what some of those
It really
guys can. Well, all of them can do. They wouldn't be here if they wasn't.
I think Nashville, and I love all different forms of music, but I think as far as the musicianship and the songwriters and the things that we have in town and the efficiency and the structure of our recording process and our number system and everything, I think this is by far the most efficient, well-oiled recording machine there is in the entire world.
I mean, you can go in there and record a whole record.
Oh, in 2 days.
Yeah, 2 days if you want to.
Absolutely. And just knock it out if you do all your stuff on the front end. But I've been in the studio with buddies like from Three Doors, man, where they'd rent Ocean Wave for 3 months. And, come in there catering every day and piddle around and write a song or cut the same song like 20 times. And, it's like.
I feel like, though, that's kind of back in the day. You hear about those types of things, anymore.
I guess big acts still do it, but I can't
yeah.
imagine. I mean, to me, I would rather spend the time. Of course, like Waylon says, it all starts with the song.
Yeah.
So get your lyric right, and then you go from there, and then you build a track around it. But without the right words, man,
it's kind of hard to do.
Yeah, in this business, you're chasing your tail. I don't know. It's all changed a lot, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you like about now compared to say 15 years ago? The music changed a lot, man. What do you see?
Man, I don't know. I mean, I feel like, as a lot of people say, I think it's coming back. It's like anything else, man. It goes in waves, Sometimes it gets a little poppy, and sometimes it comes back to the middle. It's kind of a pendulum a little bit, It swings back and forth, and it's going back and forth all the time. I do feel like right now it's getting a little more back to the more traditional type country, but that's just how it's always been.
I agree. Yeah, I think it feels like there's a lot of traditional stuff coming.
I think so.
Back. Not only with the songwriting, but I think with more of the recording process, you're starting to hear a lot more fiddle and steel on the records.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot more creative productions, too. I mean, I've been really trying to listen to a lot more some of the new artists. I listened all the way through Lainey Wilson's new album the other day. I'm telling you what, man, her songwriting, her imagery and everything is just really amazing. And the production stuff, to be able to make a traditional country record that still sounds fresh.
Sure.
The producer did a great job
Oh, yeah.
on that.
Yeah.
Who produced your stuff, this new stuff?
Wade Kirby. Wade Kirby, when we wrote about all of it. And but he also produced it, and yeah, man, it was a great process.
You get to play guitar on a record?
No, I'll let those guys
Come
do
on,
it, man. I'm telling you, like I said, when you hear those guys play, you're just like, yeah, I'll let you do that. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Do you spend time woodshedding, trying to? Are you? I'm sure you got a full-time guitar player with you.
Oh, I do. Oh, yeah. Sometimes I get a little lazy. I say, hey, man, can you show me how to do this? Instead of, because used to, I'd sit there and listen to the records and try to dissect every little note. And it's funny, my last producer was like, well, just get your guitar player to learn it and show it to you. So I'm like, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
So sometimes I get a little lazy on that part. But, yeah, I still get there and woodshed it, though, for sure.
Oh, yeah. How much you working this year?
Man, we're still adding dates to the books. I would say we'll probably be at 95 or 100. If you include radio stuff where you go out there and, do the radio shows, it'll probably be 110, 115 shows.
That's a lot, man.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of miles, man.
Oh, yeah.
You doing full shows, a lot of clubs and stuff? Yeah.
Doing a lot of full shows, clubs, theaters. I mean, we kind of do a wide array of everything. We were just out, I think, this past weekend. Not this past weekend before, out the Grizzly Rose out there. Of course, I always love playing the Rose, man. And it gets tough when you're, because a lot of times we're in a situation now, working this new single where, the bus will go on out. Like, say, they went out to the Grizzly Rose, and then we had to go to Pensacola and play a radio show. So we fly there, and then we fly to Denver the next day and meet the bus. So sometimes that whole combination of flying and meeting the bus and getting on the bus, it gets pretty tiring sometimes.
It does, especially when you're doing 2, 3 3 shows a week's probably about my limit. I mean, and I struggle sometimes, with
it's
that.
tough.
But the flights, man,
Yeah.
especially the delays and
Oh, yeah.
sitting in the freaking airports and all that stuff, man. It just
I would rather ride the bus anytime.
absolutely.
Amen.
You know what I'm
Beer's
saying?
colder. The bathroom's right
Absolutely, man. The bed's right there. You can take a nap when you want to.
Absolutely. Satellite,
Yeah,
got all the stuff
exactly.
you want going on.
Because I was talking to somebody, I was like, yeah, it's a little different. It's one thing to just, go to bus call, meet the bus at 10 or 11 o'clock at night. You get on, sleep 8 hours or whatever you do. And you get there at the gig and you're ready to go.
That's it.
Instead of, it's one thing to do that and instead of the flying in and meeting and all that puts a whole nother, part to it, I guess.
It drains your body.
It does. It just drains you.
Mentally, physically,
Yes.
all of it. It looks like you've been hitting the gym a little bit since I saw you.
Man, I've been trying to do something, so just trying to be worth a darn,
Yeah.
But I enjoy it, man. It for me, the working out part, I think it helps the whole aspect. Just staying in good shape and mentally, physically, and you got to stay on top of it if you want to keep doing this out here. Because
Absolutely, at a high level. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the gym's a big part of it, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's keeping yourself healthy.
Absolutely.
It really does. You writing much?
Man, I wrote a ton for this past record because I had, you asked that, and it's funny because they say you have your whole life to write for your first record.
Yeah.
And then after that it's just bam, bam, bam. Well, the period between being signed at Mercury and then signing with Benny was about 2.5 years. So I was able just to get in there and write as much as I wanted to. And, hey, if we got it one day, we got it. If we didn't, we'll try another day. And it was like having that period of your whole life to write for your first record again. So to be able to do that was just an awesome experience. So, yes, I've been writing a bunch, and then I've been just kind of supporting this record. I hadn't had as much time to write because I've just been gone so much,
Yeah. Did you get to hunt in the fall?
Man, I don't think I hunted one time. No, I take that back. I went and sat in the tree stand one time, and it's just man, I just get so busy. You know how it is.
I do.
And because, you get so busy out there when you do get home, it's like, man, you don't really feel like doing anything. You just want to rest for a day or so, and then it's right back to it.
Yeah, you were pulling up here. We were coming to the bus. We're on the bus pad here at the house, and there was a big old turkey out there, all
that picture,
fluffed up, man. He had a bunch of girls with him. He was showing out a little bit this morning.
and too, when you're out between working, on the road and at the house, just time kind of flies, and it's like, man, where'd it go?
Look up, another year's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, just bam. I swore after COVID that I wasn't going to work this much again, and then everything just started rolling. It's like,
Oh yeah,
you're
you
right
got
back,
to.
You're right
You
back
got to
in
do it
again.
while you can.
Yeah, just get out there and grind it out, man.
Absolutely.
How old are you now?
Man, I just turned 40 this past year.
Really?
Yeah, I'll be 40
Oh,
this
you're
year.
a young pup.
You know what, man? Age to me, that's just it's all about how you feel and stuff like that.
Yeah,
you
you
know?
wait. Yeah.
I'm going to keep with that attitude.
Yeah. I say the same thing. Got to keep on grinding it out, man.
Gotta do it, man.
It just gets harder and harder.
I'll keep fighting at it.
Part of the thing, though, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's all good. So was it everything you thought it'd be? Music business, highs and lows. I mean,
It's one of those deals in this business. You got to get used to both, because there's going to be plenty of waves of high and low, and it's a different way of life for sure. As an artist, it's different than anything else you've ever done. I know that for a fact.
So when you dreamed of it when you were a kid, what was your dream? Was it seeing yourself on the marquee? Was it driving fancy cars with the girls? What was your dream?
Probably all of the above, or some of all of the above, for sure.
Because I think everybody views it through a little bit of a different lens. At least I did, man.
Yeah.
There was something about the bus. It was just magic to me. I just wanted to be on the damn bus. I don't know what it was. I just felt like that was just the coolest lifestyle, to be able to run up and down the road from bar to bar.
Oh, yeah.
And have people bringing you booze and, all the things that go along with it. I mean, it was a wonderful time.
It definitely is, what people, how they perceive it through their eyes, especially people that are not in the business. They think it's this glamorous life all the time. And it's like, man, if you just seen the green room I was in, you would know it's not that glamorous all the time.
Right.
Porta-johns are not glamorous.
Not glamorous. I promise you.
Yeah. Some days it's a porta-john in a cornfield.
Exactly. Yeah, I've been to plenty of those. Buddy,
Oh, my
trust me.
gosh. So I think there might be some confusion. So a lot of folks don't really understand the difference between a major label and an independent label. So major labels...
Definitely more corporate.
Definitely more corporate. And like, for example, you've got the Warner Electra Asylum family, which is Warner Brothers. Warner Electra Asylum, that is their distribution. So when you talk about a major label, that means a label conglomerate that has major Distribution is probably one of the most important things. Universal has their own distribution. All the subsidiary labels that fall under that
And
blanket.
don't they own some of the streaming stuff or have something?
Oh, yeah,
I
absolutely.
think they're all,
Yeah, and then you've got RCA, B&A, BMG, Burnham Music Group. All that's under another blanket. They got their own distribution. So when you talk about an independent label like what I am, what Benny is now, I'm on my own imprint. I have Orchard Distribution too.
Yeah.
So Orchard is an independent distribution company. And what that means is that they typically provide you maybe the money to cut your project, but they do all your physical, they do all your digital. But what I learned several years ago, a small independent label like what I have, which is just me, it's my own imprint. For me to try to work radio would be basically financially impossible.
Oh, it's great. Yeah.
Because you're going to spend several $100,000 on a record, and without the support and strength of other artists and other things to spread that cost around with a promotion staff, it's just basically impossible.
Oh, yeah, it'd be impossible.
So, how many promotion people do you have over at?
Man, we've got
Full staff.
Full staff. Yeah, we got a full staff, which is great. Benny's able to do that, and if anybody can have success as an independent label, it'd be Benny Brown because he's done it before.
Absolutely, but a lot of radio stations, a lot of the big reporting stations, won't even take a promotion staff's call. If you hired an outsourced promotion staff as an independent label, if you don't have an in-house staff working exclusively for your label, right? There's a lot of stations that won't even take a call.
And we're lucky to have that resource. We've got for Court Seal's got their staff, and then my label's got their staff too, so pretty lucky to have that.
Yep. What's your management situation like?
Man, a guy named Jake LeGrone's managing me right now.
I've known the name.
Yeah, you know Jake. He's been in the business for a long time. Great guy.
Yep.
Great guy.
How many folks are on his roster? You got several management partners.
No, it's just him.
As far as other artists.
Oh, other artists. Yeah. No, he's got Joe Nichols and some other artists on our label.
That's cool.
Yeah, man.
I like Joe, man. Joe and
Joe's great, man.
Joe, he really is such a great singer. Glad to see some stuff happening for him.
Yeah.
He's been off the charts for a while.
He's one of those He's one of those modern classic voices.
Oh yeah, he really
be there
is.
forever. I mean, he's just great.
Just had some great records too.
Oh, yeah.
Just like you have. He's
Absolutely.
a great guy. Arkansas guy.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yep. Did y'all have anybody in March Madness? Florida didn't do?
Man, I ain't even been paying attention to it. I've been the worst fan. I hadn't paid attention to it. Man, I even when football season, I knew. I was like, yeah, everybody's kind of bragging about the new quarterback and all this stuff, and I was like, hey, I don't know. And they ended up disappointing me this year.
So, are you a big sports fan?
Man,
a little bit.
I like college football, but it's one of those deals where if we lose, it ain't going to ruin my day.
I don't care.
You know what I mean?
And I'm not a betting junkie either.
No, I ain't either. But dude, I know some people that if the ball team loses, their week is ruined.
Oh yeah, destroys their life.
Yeah, I used to have a buddy that I worked with, and oh my God, he was the biggest Alabama fan I knew, and he would get so aggravated. I mean, we were going down the road one day, and he threw pizza boxes out.
That's what happens when you get so spoiled because you get used to winning, and you think you're supposed to win all the time. It's called privilege.
Oh man,
and it's a bunch of crap. That's what happens in Alabama. See, that's what's going on.
All I know, man, his week would be ruined, and of course everybody else's would too. Out on the road because he gets so aggravated.
So what's your outlet other than hitting the gym? What do you do?
Man, I love to ride dirt bikes. Of course, again, I love to hunt and fish, but I just ain't had time to do it. I barely had time to dirt bike.
And I'm telling you, get busy on the road, man. It sucks into your.
It does, time. Man. And really but like somebody said, you can either sit at the house and spend money or go out and work. So I'd rather go out and work.
Yeah, but this is kind of like a hobby too.
It is. It is.
You still get to ride around and.
Oh, trust me, I'm very blessed and very thankful. Trust me, there's nothing wrong with digging a ditch, but I'd rather be doing this.
I got a chance to do Craig Morgan's ride several years ago, man, out at his place. He's kind of big into the dirt bike.
Oh yeah, I remember. I think
I tore some stuff up that day. Yeah, he gave me a side by side. Oh yeah, I was flying. I never let up. I think I hit a few trees. Oh, just on the side.
You might want to watch those.
Just on the side course. I mean, I didn't stop or anything. It wasn't like I went like that or nothing.
Yeah, man, I love it. I don't get a chance to do it as much as I'd like to, but when we do, we get out there and have a good time.
Yeah, it's easy to get lost in all of it, man. So what's coming up next for you? What you got going on?
Man, we're just out there
That's
the grindstone, man, working this new record. Got a new song out called "Marry That Girl" that's doing really well, and it's really taken on a life of its own over the past 6 months to a year. And man, we're just out there working the crap out of it.
Any duets?
No, not on this record. No.
Yeah,
So,
none. Well,
maybe.
thank you. You sang. You did paint me a Birmingham
Dude,
with me.
I'm telling you right now, I'm not blowing smoke. I'm not hosing you. Dude, that's one of my favorite things I've ever done. To get a chance to get on there with you and
so, do
sing
you
that song.
doing it in your show?
Man, I no, but we can. Come on. We can go do it.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun, man.
That'd be awesome, actually. It really would.
Yeah, what a great record, man.
Oh, that's a great song. That's one of my favorite songs of yours ever. And just songs in general, one of my favorite. You know.
That album still does well for us. Ask me some pointed questions. Throw something at him, boys.
Man, what's the most bizarre request you've ever had from a fan, or what's the craziest thing they've ever asked you to sign?
I mean, you can already guess what they asked me to sign. I mean, that's pretty, you know.
That's just terrible.
Yeah, awful. Sorry, honey. I got a real big signature. You know, they have asked me to sign them, and you know they get that stuff tattooed on them and stuff, and I'm just like, all right, God bless you. We love our fans.
Absolutely.
We'll do it. You know.
You had to go there, didn't you? Yeah.
Of course, man. I got to switch it up a little bit.
I mean, I've definitely had awkward moments. I remember one time, and you've been there. I know you have Mo's place in Katy, Texas.
Absolutely.
You know Mo.
Oh yeah.
And and it was when I first got out there starting, and I was up there singing, and you know how it is when you're just kind of learning the ropes. Like I'd played a lot of stages before them, but not at that level, professional level, and you learn to adapt, to certain situations. And I had a woman jump up there and start humping my leg like a dog.
Dude, I had a woman stroke my boot on stage.
Are you serious? And I'm just like, well, what do I do? I'm like, just sing through it, I guess. I don't know. Security got her off and about drug me off too, but oh my gosh.
That's pretty funny.
People get strange sometimes.
Well, they just get excited.
They get excited.
They get excited.
Between the alcohol and the excitement, the music, it just kind of, they forget.
Just couldn't
something.
contain herself.
They forget, I guess.
I got a question about songwriting. So you probably write on the guitar mostly.
Oh yeah.
Do you play some piano or any other instruments?
And I know enough piano to make a chord, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Man. I'm all guitar player.
Yeah, so that's primarily what you write on too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Because I play the piano, so it ends up being too many chords. So I'll go to the guitar because I can't play it very well.
Well, I mean,
And it keeps it real simple.
the piano though can inspire some different things, emotions, and,
Absolutely.
Different melodies and stuff. When you get to start, playing those different voicing on those chords and stuff, it can be really cool. It kind of takes it to a different place sometimes.
Cool.
Very nice, man. So, any international stuff? You going overseas at all?
Man, I don't have any plans to. I think the only time I've ever actually been overseas, we went to Japan, to Okinawa over there to the
They're
military
huge
base.
country fans over there.
Oh,
I've never
yeah.
been.
Well, I did the military base, so it was
Yeah.
it wasn't really Japanese people. It was mostly American soldiers, and but it was a real cool experience. My deal about it is I like going and doing that stuff. It's just the amount of time it takes to get there and sit on a plane.
I was going to say, how long is that flight?
Oh, it was 13 hours just to Tokyo, and then another 4 to Okinawa. And it's hard for me to sit on a 3-hour plane ride, just in the States. But it was kind of tough.
That's long.
That's a long ride.
Yeah, Australia's worse.
Oh, yeah. What's that, like 18 hours?
Oh, it's a lot. It's between. I usually have one stop. It's usually like 20-something hours.
Golly.
I mean, it's so long. They give you the whole movie catalog. They give you like comedies and everything. They give you a whole thing. The flight over and the flight back. By the time you get halfway home, you've watched everything.
Every one of 'em.
Everything there is to watch.
There's
You've done been
nothing
through it.
else.
Nope, you've been through it all.
Oh,
There's
my
nothing
gosh,
left.
man, give me a drink.
Of several. Well,
Yes.
you drink a whole bunch of them as soon as you get on the plane.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then you just knock.
And then
yourself out.
when you add a country band to the mix up there, it's like, well, the alcohol's gone by now. By the end of a 8-hour flight. So,
So have you ever been to a karaoke bar where nobody knew who you were and went up and did one of your own songs to see what people would do?
I have got challenged to do that, and I have done it. And I remember I was in Nashville somewhere or something, and someone's like, hey, man, you get up and sing a song. I'm like, sure. So I acted like I had no idea what I was doing, and just was like, I was looking at the words, trying to, just playing like an idiot. And it was pretty funny, actually.
That's all fun.
Because some people are like, who's this cat? He kind of sounds like, and you kind of sound like Easton Corbin. I was like, I get that sometime,
So tell me all your socials and everything.
Yeah, man, I'm
The name of the new album.
Yeah, Let's Do Country Rights, a new record. The new single's Marry That Girl. And, of course, man, I'm on Instagram, TikTok, all of it. You name it, we're there.
All that good stuff.
All that good
Brother,
stuff.
so good to see you.
Hey, thanks for
Always
having me, man.
a
I
pleasure.
appreciate it. Absolutely, man.
Appreciate you, man. Hope we get a chance to do some shows with you out there.
Do paint me a Birmingham,
Let's
man.
do it anytime.
that'd be
I'll
great.
be ready, man. Easton Corbin.
Thank you. Appreciate you.